Who at this table is the worst loser?
I hate losing, mate. I hate losing.
The Ministry of Social Development's told us that for every $1 we put into that, the community gets $17 back.
The Bed Night Levy is a brilliant idea.
I haven't met anyone other than the ACT guys who don't understand how good it is.
As a city, we've got to have ambition, and unfortunately, ambition needs funding.
You can't drink and drive, so I've given up driving. Welcome back to one of our mad things today. We've had all the political leaders in, excepting for Te Pāti Pākehā, who couldn't make it. And now, it's my great pleasure to have invited in the three chief executives of what the bits that makes me most proud to be the mayor is that we have three top professional teams. We have Karl Budge here from the Blues, who made it into the semi-finals and then tripped over. And we've got Cameron George from the Warriors, who have the most fanatical support of any team. And I'm a fanatical supporter of the Blues. And we have Auckland FC, who are late for the kick-off, but they'll be coming in shortly. They are the Australian and New Zealand champions of their sport, soccer, which is a really good thing to me. So we've got a massive chunk of their country's economy right here, and we're acting as a serious sports city. What's the one thing still that the city still doesn't get about professional sport?
Oh, I think we've got to rediscover what fandom looks like. I look at the great cities around the world, and their sports teams are such a destination of pride. It's what gives them their passion. Yeah, you look at a city like Boston and just the fandom. You can hate baseball, but you love the Red Sox. And I think
like Manchester. I've never heard of Manchester other than somewhere where they play soccer.
Yeah, exactly right. I think we've got to get that. Let's get out there and support all of the teams. I don't care whether you pass a ball, you bounce a ball, you hit a ball. Let's get out and support what we do.
Yeah, very similar. I just think the one thing that we need to improve on to get sport here is just logistically to and from the venues and making sure that's the best experience, because it starts when they leave home and to when they get home, and that can be very critical on how their experience is at the end of the day. And if we want kids, in particular, coming to sport, we've just got to make sure that whole experience, we get that right.
Well, that leads on to the city rail link, doesn't it? Because we've just spent billions of dollars on this bloody thing, which I'm annoyed that it's late and I'm annoyed that it costs so much. But I have lived long enough to be alive when it opens, which I'm quite excited about. And so how do you think it's going to play out?
Yeah, I think it'll be good. Sorry. Firstly, I think you should get Auckland FC to contribute to it since they're late today.
I agree. I don't want them to have anything to do with running the timetable.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Okay. So I think they should contribute to it to reduce that big bill you've got.
They don't employ any New Zealanders either, which might be a problem for us. So
okay. That's right too. But we'll talk to Nick.
Well, Nick's a New Zealander, so they do. But I've caught the train out to watch the Warriors, and it's a great experience. I was covered in all my Warriors gear that I always wear, and people came up and they loved to see the mayor catching the train out there, and they were all joyful, and it was just awesome. And it's not a big walk from the station.
Not too bad. No.
To the.
I think we're 7 minutes from Britomart to Eden Park moving forward.
Yeah.
You can literally get to our games.
Well, it's going to be really good for Eden Park, but actually don't underestimate how good the train is to go out to Mount Smart. Yeah. And it was full of people. They were all joyful. And, of course, afterwards you can have, because you can't drink and drive, so I've given up driving. And the train was really good. You know, you totter around to the train and get back into the city. And
I think you build that into the experience. Cam's right. Like the entertainment starts long before you've got to the park. And so I think making that part of the experience and how we can go and unlock the city and make those festival occasions every night. They should be something that we all get into and all get in behind. And I think the City Rail Link's going to make a hell of a difference for us.
Everyone thinks that just to run a sports team, it's just a coach. Everyone knows better. Between the sponsors, the coaches, and the medias, what's the job of keeping that really keeps you up at night to get it all going?
Well, I think for us at the moment it's fandom. We've got to go and reignite love of this game in New Zealand. I think for a long time we've had the privilege of being the number one sport, but guys like Cam to my right here are threatening that. And we've got a real job. We are a business. If we don't invest in customer and expand our sales, then our business is, like any industry, going to struggle. So for us, it's all about fandom at the moment. We've got to help Auckland erupt back into fandom of the Blues and loving rugby all over again.
And you've got to have a winning culture. I mean, you guys have got a winning culture even when you haven't got a winning culture. And so that's really cool because people come along for the hits, don't they?
Yeah, we've really invested and focused on our game day experience. So, we see ourselves that sit firmly in the entertainment industry, more so than just sports. So, it's a real balance between making sure that we're winning on the field, but we're part of the entertainment industry off the field. And a couple of years ago, we made a conscious decision to not worry about what the NRL were doing in terms of how we were comparing ourselves to all the other clubs. We just focused on being the best entertainment ticket that live sport could offer in New Zealand. So when we focused on our own market and focused on New Zealand and focused on the person at the bottom of the South Island to the top of the North, wanted to buy a ticket to come to the Warriors games because of the experience within the four gates there. And just having relevance to the entertainment aspect is really important to us.
Yeah, I can't fault that thinking. And Budgie, you've come from other sports where you've built that thing at tennis, and you and I nearly pulled off a big surfing one a few years ago, and bloody Jacinda didn't wreck that one there. And I was.
Did you go to her open home over the weekend, mate?
Hey?
You didn't go to her open home over the weekend?
No, I didn't go to open home. But I did go to the WSL contest down at Raglan, which was pretty cool. But fans, crowds and entertainment. You've got a whole lot of things. You've got Netflix, cost of living, traffic. You're competing with a whole lot of other things. What actually gets Auckland off the couch and into a stadium these days?
I think Cam's...
God, this will be bloody Nick ringing up to say sorry. I'm sorry about that, mate, but it's not going to happen.
Put his rates up.
Hey?
Put Nick's rates up.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, mate, I think, as Cam said, it is that full entertainment experience. And, I think back to that journey at the ASB Classic, where I think we had less than 20,000 people coming to the gates to come and watch a tennis tournament. By the time we turned it into an event, we had over 100,000 people coming to the gates. And I'm not sure we got that many more tennis fans. It was people just looking for an occasion, looking for a day out, wanting to come and be part of something, how that made you feel. I think to Cam's point, it gave you a bit of an international flavour that Auckland hadn't really seen in a sporting landscape. And I think we're so exposed now to great around the world. I think the digital platforms, your Netflixes, etc., this world, being world class into our living rooms every day. If we don't stand up next to that, then I think we're going to fall behind.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
Agreeing to that there, I think.
Yeah.
I think you're fighting the same thing. You've got yourself, the three sports here are fighting for the same fans and dollars in a way. I get the idea that they're collaborating as well as competing, which is the right thing to do. Are we big enough for all three to grow? And is that a true thing?
Yeah, I genuinely don't see the Blues or Auckland FC as competitors. I think the sport itself will work itself out. Like there'll be a kid that'll be 16, 17, he can play all three codes, and then all of a sudden he'll start to lean towards one, and off they go. And our job is to provide those pathways, which all the sports do here, and the Blues and us and Auckland FC. But in terms of the business side and the fan side, you can't make people sponsor you. You can't make people come to your game or anything like that. They'll come in droves when you're winning. They'll come in droves when you've got great entertainment and great offerings and all that sort of thing. And we're all just doing our best out in the marketplace like every hotel and restaurant. And you'll have your core rugby followers and you'll have your core rugby league followers that you won't be able to get them to pivot. But there'll be a bunch of sports fans that just want to come and celebrate winning, and that's with the Blues or with us or with Auckland FC. So everyone wins out of it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think the average sports fan follows 6.5 teams. And so, I don't think we're competing at all.
Yeah, well, I'm the only elected person who's played in Eden Park, but I spent a lot of time at the other ones.
Absolutely.
Watching you guys and watching you soccer. I've never played soccer in my life, and I found it quite interesting this year. And I get out there and follow it because it's an Auckland thing, and they're doing well, you know.
I think we've got to work together, particularly in a city the size of Auckland. I think we've got an opportunity to work together. That should be our superpower, not where we're not a disadvantage.
Well, people love it. I mean, unfortunately, Nick's late, but earlier in the year, before you got your job, we had a luncheon. People were there drinking like mad to try and get their money back, and then I got you and Nick and your predecessor up on the stage there, Andrew, and we did an interview, and they all stopped drinking and went quiet. They wanted to hear. It was really interesting. Did you remember that?
Yes.
It was quite interesting. And then as soon as we finished, the roaring, the noise of everyone slurping overtook us again. But people are really interested. We've got Eden Park's got about 45,000 seats, and Go Meter's about 25,000. What's the handbrake to the big events in the city?
I think big events now come with a price tag, and I think we've got to be really realistic around that. We talk a lot around the concerts that aren't coming to New Zealand at the moment, and that's because simply the economies don't stack up. And so I think as a city, we're going to have to be more selective. I think we're going to have to go harder at what we do want, but that's probably going to mean fewer too.
Well, it also means we've got to get this bloody Bed Night Levy thing going. We're the only city in the world that doesn't have that, but we've got that wretched Te Pākehā Act opposed to the Bed Night Levy. All the accommodation industry want it. It gives me, as a council, $27 million to fund these things, and we wouldn't be doing it without going and asking you guys what it is you want to fund. But you've got to tell your fans, don't vote for ACT if you want to have more games.
I support it. I think the benefits, the broader benefits, without looking, inwards, is extremely valuable to the local economy. But the benefit of having the bed tax is the fact that we can create and generate and attract more content, which just helps Auckland grow to another level, both through the hospitality industry. Everyone's local businesses will benefit. So I think it's a way of generating a revenue that can be put back into generating more revenue. So it's just a good investment strategy.
I'm expecting you guys to be supporting me in this, kind of like a political battle call over this. Is particularly one party doesn't want it, and they've held up the other.
Why don't they want it? Short answer.
He said, no more taxes. And it's not a tax. In fact, the bizarre part about the people is the people who will be paying it don't live in Auckland.
That's a levy.
Because Aucklanders don't go and stay in a hotel to listen to watch the games. People come in to do that, and so
you just look at what
it's just kind of like
no different to a toll road.
Mental problem.
It's no different to a toll.
I look at what something like the Formula One Grand Prix in Singapore has done. That costs them several $100 million a year. That is funded by and large by a visitor levy. The return on that's over $4 billion a year.
Oh look, it's. I haven't met anyone other than the ACT guys who don't understand how good it is. And it's not a tax. You can't avoid a tax, but you can avoid this by not staying in a hotel. It's quite easy. And the hoteliers want it. And they jack up their rates by double.
Well, we've seen how good it is. Look at the Metallica weekend. Look at when the Auckland's big weekend that we had last year. When you get the visit economy roaring, what it does for the city. And I think it's essential.
Here's the late Nick Becker.
And the combination of me being a twat and when I was putting my diary, I was in Vancouver, so that's why it was.
Was Ali's chauffeur late? What's the deal?
I just sprinted there from the office.
Anyhow, it's good to see you fit enough to make it like that.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know there's been no enmity about Auckland FC. Whilst I wasn't here on time.
I'm sure that is not
true.
But
we carried on because basically the other guys who've got clocks have to leave at certain times.
We've still got championships.
But we can let you run on. And it was pretty positive stuff. And I think we'll just carry on with the next things and you can pile in with it as we go. But we are talking about the Bed Night Levy because I can't really increase rates on people and struggling in South Auckland or even over out in West Auckland.
The Bed Night Levy is a brilliant idea. Like, it's any other big city in the world does it. Why wouldn't we do it here? If you can afford to stay in a hotel or you're visiting here, someone visiting from the US or wherever else is going to expect some tax on their room, and we don't do it.
You don't even factor into your consideration, do you? Yeah, you swipe away. I've just come back from Tokyo, and it's every one of your room nights was had a tax attached to it that you don't even think of.
Well, the top of the bill when I left Buenos Aires was my contribution to the local economy at 2.5%. And so I took a copy of that and sent it off to the head of bloody ACT.
So it's being held back because it's being viewed as a tax, but it's just
by ACT.
Right, okay.
And I mean, and I think the main parties, Labor and National, are okay on it, but National's not quite strong enough in his management of his co-partners, because I think when he signed up the deal, he turned out not to be quite as good a negotiator as he told us he was. But I'm going to be pushing this over the next 6 months. It'll be in my mayoral manifesto, which go to the parties. This is what Auckland wants. And
is it part of the big Auckland deal, the Auckland deal?
That they said they got sufficiently strong will to say that they're going to talk about it seriously next year. But then again, they might even be the government anyhow. So
you look at the major cities around the world coming out of COVID, how much they used events as a lever to kickstart their economy again, and that's something that can be always on for
kickstart
Auckland.
the people's feeling about things. You know, it's only so much kindness I can handle.
But we've all got it right. You've got the State of O coming up. You've got the Anzac Test coming up. Like, you know, we've got Tottenham. There's
Brazil is on the verge of coming here as a
I saw that.
as a team.
Do you see they're going to Australia? They've got 2 games in Aussie.
They tried to buy all 3, but we've reserved one for here if I can get the cash together.
Let's make that happen.
And so I want to talk to you about that anyhow. But all those things are good, even if it's for another sport. It's all good for us to happen here, you know. And like the State of Origin next year, you know, it's huge stuff, you know. Yeah. And people who don't watch rugby league will be paying to be there just because it's a big occasion.
Yeah.
And so it's just sports as an entertainment. And I'm still bitter about the government from mucking up the Sail GP, because not only is it a sport, but it's a window into our economy. This is the economy that came up with the idea of building those bloody foils. This is where they make them.
I think that's, I look at Sail GP, behind you now, what a wonderful arena we've got. We've got one of the best natural stadiums in the world for that sport. And
but international eyes come and look at things that have got a good place. Look at the number. There's 12 million people watching the surf contest in Raglan online, you know, and then the government put money into some bloke singing at Eden Park. No one in the rest of the world's not going to watch that. We've got plenty of people that sing at Eden Park. But the rest of the world come and watch online. They want to watch the Warriors. All over Australia, they watch the Warriors. It's kind of amazed me. You know, that was when I went out to watch the game at Parramatta. There was a whole lot of white racist Australians wandering around in Warrior gear. I was amazing, you know. It's incredible how cool it was.
We can't cut that.
Cam's just thinking of a new sponsor category.
Well, they're not known for their liberal views over there, and there they were, and in droves. I was very pleased. You've all made a big influence on providing entertainment. Just explain the other things you were doing, because you were brought in to bring fan experience like you did to tennis, because it wasn't just...
Yeah, tennis was an awesome journey, right? But we've got to do that in rugby. And I talk a lot around, if Taylor Swift was an acoustic guitar on a stage by herself, she's not selling out arenas week in, week out. The moment you wrap around everything else that goes into one of her concerts, you know, the fireworks, the lighting, the LEDs, the backup performers, etc. Now all of a sudden it's an experience and it sells out arenas the world over. We've got to go and do that. I think rugby for a long time has been an acoustic guitar on a stage. We've got to come in now and actually go and put everything else around it and get people that, even if you're not a diehard rugby fan, that you just want to come and be part of an occasion, and that you've got a connection to your place. I lived in Beijing for a period of time, and I can remember having weekends where I didn't speak to a single human over the course of that weekend. It wasn't until I found my rugby club over there that I got a sense of place. I all of a sudden was grounded to my new home, and when more people than not weren't born in Auckland that are living here, what a wonderful opportunity we've got to give them that home here in our city.
The laser shows you put on are unbelievable, aren't they, really?
Yeah, they are. But I think you got to pay some credit to the NRL too, like the sport itself. Like it's fast, it's electric, it's it changes in the matter of a bounce of a ball. It's captured, the non-playing public because it's so exciting, and that's one thing that they do. They listen to the fan base really well, so they make the game very attractive. And then to Karl's point, what you wrap around that, we try and complement that as best we can through all sorts of different things.
I think there is a bit of a need for some freshening of the faces at the board table in rugby, but that's another question.
I think
you've got some bright owners who've really brought a flash thing to your, and you've just had an eruption of support.
Yeah, for us, it's sort of, we're all part of the community, right? And I think that the match days are a destination for everyone to come together, and they don't. For us, the insight was more. Football is participated by kids, really. Like the growth, it's at a youth level. So the mum and dad might not be massive football fans, but they want to do something with the family unit. So they come along. What's the experience that we can give everybody? There might be a couple of the dad and the son might like the football, the mum and the other son might not so much. So what's the experience that they're going to get that's going to keep them wanting to come back and be part of that? I think it's sort of, we want to serve, we want to be part of our community. We want to be a place where Aucklanders come together and like enjoy each other's company, the match, the fan experience, and I think that's what we're trying to create.
So what's the?
I see how off-putting it is as you're talking that we've got people jumping off a building directly behind your shoulder. It grabs your eyes for a little bit there.
Have you done it? I've done it.
Have you done it?
Yeah? Of course I have.
Done it.
Haven't you? What a bunch of girls! Come on.
I'm not going to do that.
I'm getting a whole lot of free tickets because I get the Chinese visitors in here, and I give them the mayor of somewhere a free ticket up there, but they haven't been using them up. But it's
going to take more than a free ticket to jump off.
I did that, and it's kind of you leap off there, and my response was I broke in hysterical giggling all the way down, which was better than crying, I suppose. But it was.
I couldn't do that. I couldn't even do that walk. The walk around was just.
Mate, I just recently went up. See that big building over there that's not quite finished. It's important to me that we get that finished.
Yes,
because it's.
Yeah, what is the plan with that?
And it will get finished. Yeah. And it is sound, and I went up to the top of that, and you shouldn't be a structural engineer if you're not used to heights, because that's what you're going to have to do. So I'm quite good at heights, and I wander in, and everyone else is a mess. But which leads me to what can I do, and as the leader of the council and of the city and the council itself, what are the things that we can do to help? Because we spend huge sums of money as a council on football grounds and sports anyhow at all levels, and I'm trying to get maximum use out of it. I've had to get past some people who say, well, we can't play rugby on that ground because it's a league ground and vice versa. And I say, well, you can't at the same time, but you can after each other a bit. You've got to use our facilities as much as we can. So what more can we do? How can we help you? I want to be as helpful as we can.
Infrastructure.
Yeah, it's facilities. It's all facilities. And I think from grassroots right up to the high performance level, that's where we struggle. We struggle massively on that. I'd say the second point, and we talk about facilities a bit more, but the second one would be you're already doing it with the Bed Levy. If we can get that over the line, if we can bring more international content into the city in our respective sports, it'll just help us all grow, and it'll help the city. Those two things. That'd be the key priorities on my side.
It gives you a multiplier effect, right? Like the more of that content that comes in, the more we're going to create a culture of buying sponsorship, the more we're going to create a culture of buying hospitality, of getting out and attending. I think I look at something like Melbourne, and to me, that's its superpower. It has a culture all the way through the ecosystem of investing in live entertainment. The government does a wonderful job at that top end in Melbourne. But because that top end's working so well, the rest of the system self-populates. That's something we could do a lot stronger.
Good you said, because infrastructure is actually at the expensive level for us is playground, is footy fields in the 3 codes everywhere, and you can't. That gobbles up cash because it's all money that we've got to buy in suburbs where the people have got a section, and so we do. So it's good that you actually raised it, because I'm at a situation whereby any money we spend, the government are saying, oh no, stick to your basics, pipes and roads. And you're like, well, hang on, one of the basics is sports fields. Yeah. But other people would say it's a luxury.
Generational. It's what you fix now will benefit generations to come. So it's got a long-term benefit, which is exactly what you want to hear. And
So sometimes I need to hear you saying those things because I get picked on if I spend anything, and the government are wanting to put a cap on our rates. And our rates of this year, we told everybody they're going to go up a bit more than normal because they're going to pay for this bloody expensive railway. And it's not going to come free. And we're not just going to borrow endlessly.
I think we've got to help tell that story a little bit better around the impact that sport has. So we've got our Blues Charitable Trust, which is our leadership program. The Ministry of Social Development's told us that for every dollar we put into that, the community gets $17 back. Now, and that's before we start talking about health benefits and leadership benefits, et cetera, that sport naturally teaches us. I think there's so many contributors to the longevity and the health outcomes and the career aspirations of people in sport.
I'm an old bastard, but I'm still in reasonably good shape because I played footy all those years, and because then I did surfing all those years, I still did tennis. If you're active, you'll live longer probably.
But it's not just on the field. It's the benefit that it brings around the field. It's the volunteers have something to do. The parents have somewhere to go and socialise. The kids get to learn about the team environment. And so if we don't have the infrastructure for them to go and utilise, it has a disadvantage in so many other aspects of life and society. So
what else cuts through race, gender, ethnicity, etc., like sport does? I go and sit in a Warriors crowd, and there's such diversity amongst who I'm sitting with there, and yet just for those 80 minutes, we're all one. And I think that's something that, there's very few platforms that can deliver that quite like sport can.
And sport delivers you become very proud of your city. Like at a local level, the grassroots piece, you talk about the volunteers proud of what they do on a Saturday morning, but then you go to, the Warriors performing top of the table, us winning, that creates pride of the city and the place that you live. And I think that there's a serious value to that. That then drives more investment, drives more people visiting. The economic benefits grow from there. But
I think particularly for a city like Auckland that is such a migrant city too. We've got some people that come here seeking better opportunity. I've been blown away looking into our fan data, how many South Asian communities are coming through our games each week. They're outstripping what would be traditionally labelled as a core rugby audience. I think they are coming to find connection to their home, connection to their new place, and something that sport can do better than any other platform.
I've got to say how much I enjoy having the relationship with you guys, because it's everything is positive, and if you're the mayor, there's always someone who's unhappy about what you do, and it perks me up sometimes, because some days you have a day out there and everyone's throwing a rock at you, and so this is New Zealand where no good turn goes unpunished. And so it's the positivity you get out of sport. It's good for everybody.
I think one thing you could do for us is, and this is a lesson, I think that's probably restricting thinking more than anything in sport, is if the governing body, or in your case, the council, said to us, you got a $10 million budget, what would you bring to Auckland to inspire the city? Clearly we're talking hypothetical here, but allowing our organisations to go away and say, right, we've got a X dollar budget on offer. What event would we bring to the city, and how would we inspire generations?
We do invest a lot in events as it is.
But it should be, we should get that challenge presented to us.
Well, I'm doing it right now. You're invited. I came along here was to hear from you, not tell you. And so what are the number one chunks of cash, the things you do with chunks of cash? Because we've put money into the state of origin game. We kind of do it episodically as something crops up, but rather than say, righto, if you gave a big chunk of cash, what is it you come back and? I
think what with the Anzac thing, Matt, you've achieved, and what we look at, what we need to do more of is the multi-year deal. Like, we need to be able to have that investment go across multi-years, and I think cross multi-codes as well. And if we can pick off 3 or 4 key events in the calendar that the city tips some money into it, we look at for private investment into it as well. How do we actually do that as JV and grow it? I've just come back from, and now this is obviously a much bigger event than we're talking about here, but I was just lucky enough to go to Vancouver for the last All Whites match, and that's a city similar size to here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Vegas. Thank you, Vegas. I got to go on a plane too. And
I went to Hamilton.
Yeah. And
I went to Raglan.
but that's a city that had come alive, and like we're talking World Cup's a completely different kettle of fish. I get that, but it executed that city so well. It executed the event so well. Everybody was there. It drove investment into it. It brought the city. Canadians who aren't massive footballers or soccer fans, all wearing they're proudly wearing their national jersey, and it just brings the city together. So if we can come back to you with 3 events, what it may be, that we think will drive the same sort of kind of similar outcomes for Auckland, let's work out a way to do it.
But it's all an argument in favour of the Bed Night Levy.
Yeah.
And I think sooner or later the governments are going to cave in.
Well, we've got to have money
because
to.
actors dropping in numbers, and the others are going to be a bit stronger about it this time. And so it's just unfortunate that someone's strange views has prevented a lot of people
Why can't
getting
the hotels voluntarily?
Well, we try
order
to
for-
rate on them, and the thing about rating, which is what the only that I can do legally, is that it didn't. It punished you on your value of the thing, whether you were doing any good or not. And so the thing is, if you're doing well in this, then you pay it, and if you're not doing too well, you're not paying it, and that's kind of like fair. And I think the hotels are pushing hard to get this. It was their idea, not mine. They came to me and said, we want to do this. And I said, okay, it sounds a good idea. I'll start pushing it.
What is Acton David Seymour's problem? Is it as few
Well,
as
he's made a
tax?
statement, no more taxes. It's not a bloody tax in here.
Well, it's a levy, and it's also it's been paid for
By visitors to the city,
exactly,
for God's sake.
exactly.
So, and it's either do I increase the rates of some poor bastard in Otahu who's battling away as it is, or do I get it from the people who've got enough money to come along and stay in a hotel? Well, it's an easy choice for me.
Well, we've got to have ambition. As a city, we've got to have ambition, and unfortunately, ambition needs funding. And so to me, this is a no-brainer. And if we can get largely internationals to be funding our own ambition, where's the negative?
But it's those two things. It's a long-term view and investment on facilities, and it's a multi-year investment into major sporting events. If we get those two things right, as a city, we all grow, and I think it'd be a really positive one. That's your task, Mayor.
Plus, meet a rates cap and pay for a $6 billion railway that should have been floored and opened 3 years ago. You know, I'm facing endless demands for money. This afternoon I go and listen to a whole lot of people who say we need endless new swimming pools. And I'm a great one of doing more with what we've got. And
I think that's where
guys
that
are part of it.
infrastructure, like sweating the assets we've got. We've got Eden Park, and so being able to make that user friendly and and sweat that asset that's already paid for, I think is pretty important. And I think that's where that infrastructure is so important for us. We want to be able to turn up to a place that feels like our home, that you see our brand, that you turn on the telly no matter where you are in the world and you can go, that's the Blues in Auckland. I think some of that infrastructure investment to increase the
you guys
usability.
are in a relatively cheap stadium and filling it up all the time. And even then, it takes topping up. So I think the poor old
Very
rate
expensive.
Pays,
It's very expensive. If you want to help us out a little bit.
So he's going to be running the NRL.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, happy to do that. But I mean, I'll tell you what, poor old ratepayers of Christchurch have got they're going to be paying for a long time to cover the cost of that wonderful stadium. It's only got the same seating as what you've got.
Yeah.
And so...
And the good thing about Mount Smart is you've got, you don't have to do a huge amount to continue to evolve and make it better. And it needs a bit of...
We get some more seats at one end and we can do some more things out there. And anyhow, thanks for coming in, guys.
We'll come in as 10 to 11.
I'm
not
sorry.
being rude.
I apologise. Completely my mistake.
You're Vancouver type.
Genuine
I
mistake.
think there's ways you can make this
Genuine
back, though. A case of Martinborough Estate single vineyard to each of us, and I think we're probably okay.
Yeah, we can.
There you go, right. Yeah. We'll speak to your owners.
Yeah.
There's it. Now, quick rapid fire. Best Auckland sporting venue that's not yours?
The water.
I'd have to say Spark Arena.
Yeah, the tennis centre.
There you go. Good answers. One Auckland athlete from any code you would pay to watch?
James McDonald.
I'm going to back my local Pukekohe boy here and go Liam Lawson.
Oof. Very, very good. Totally on the spot here.
Well, my answer is David Nyker.
Right.
Oh, that's a good
Watch
one.
him punching people shortly. And,
That's a good one.
I'll sort of
Yeah.
reveals one of
run with
my inherent faults. We got no answer from you. It's a bit like, mate, he'll need an hour to come to that one there. Okay. Best fans in Auckland, no diplomatic answers.
Warriors.
Auckland FC. The Port. The Port, without a doubt.
Yeah, the Port is pretty...
We're all biased.
We're all biased.
We're
Okay.
all appreciative of it.
Okay,
plead the
right. One thing Auckland must fix before it can call itself the great events city. Bed
Infrastructure.
Night Levy. Infrastructure. No, it's
Goes
not
hand in
fixed.
hand.
Yeah, they do.
Legislative
100%.
barriers.
Eh?
Legislative barriers. Liquor licenses, road closures.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah,
it
I think
does-
the road closures is something I'm doing about.
road
Sort of
closures
the-
have to, we've got to get on top.
Temporary traffic management is a shithole industry.
Brownie, you talk about our event out at Piha. 2/3 of our title sponsor went towards traffic management plans. And we
Oh, no,
wonder
it's
why
hideous.
those events are hard to make
And
work.
I'm really angry that we have to do that every time. And that's a mixture of two things. One is that AT, which I'm getting my hands back on again, is an appalling organisation. But B, the legislators in New Zealand and those idiots in Wellington, they pass stuff without understanding what they've passed. And the reason you get a lot of cones is if you read the legislation, it gives you a lot of cones because they've got the safety management culture. Who at this table is the worst loser?
Well, you're pretty famous for some of your
I
sideline
hate
antics.
losing, mate. I hate losing.
Yeah, I like that. You've got to practice not losing a bit more often.
Yeah, I don't do it
We've
too
only
well
known
either.
winning.
Rightio. I'm not a good loser.
No one likes to lose. God, you wouldn't be in this job if you did.
Well, my wife said to me when I got this job that you're going to have to rein in your behaviour when you're watching games. And then I came and sat down next to our ownership at our first game and thought I'll be absolutely fine. There'll be no problems. So, there's a lot of passion that floats around our squad. So
Well, that's good. Thanks, everybody.
You, mate.
Hey. Holiday, yeah. Well, you want to try my job and see how much fun that is.
I once coveted your job. I think I've